Welcome everyone to Wager Talk Extra Golf Edition. We are 2 weeks away from the Ryder Cup, but it doesn't mean that we can't bring in some profits on both tours. We're actually going to be talking about the PGA Tour event in depth, and then we're going to touch on the DP World Tour, the European Tour event, where most of the main top names that you'll see in the Ryder Cup, they're playing over in Europe. So you're going to want to watch this show. We have got a lot of actionable information that's going to help you on these golf bets. And the fall, great time to wager on golf tournaments. There's some very easy courses, some shaky fields, and makes for some really good betting opportunities. So make sure you hit the like button while you're watching this. And myself and my good friend Nick Borrman is joining me. We are going to be breaking down the Fortinet and the European Tour event. Nick, Ah, the pressure's on, man. You got to keep up this outright winner streak. So first off, before we get in there, tell everyone how you ended the season and what was the final tally of outright winners for your 2023 season.
All right. Well, I guess officially it was 12 outright winners. Unofficially, Barry Bonds asterisk style, I'll count 13 because I had Xander Schauffele without starting strokes, which is the only time you could ever get an outright winner and have to split on the dead heat rule because he actually tied with Victor Hovland and 72 aggregate, but 12 real outright winners, 177 units gained. It was awesome. It was an awesome season. It's been quiet, obviously, the last. Now we're going on. This will be 3 weeks since that tournament, so it's been a nice break, chance to refresh and get ready for a new season, which I'm excited for. But I don't know if I can follow that up. It's going to be very tough. I hope if I get half of that this year, I will be very, very happy. But we're going to try. We're going to try our damnedest.
Yeah, I was going to say half of that is a great season, but so congratulations. That is a season that you'll never forget, and that was a lot of fun to watch. So, all right, let's get into the Fortinet. Both my golf plays and Nick's plays can be found at WagerTalk.com, and we're going to talk about the Fortinet first. We are going to California, and we are going to Silverado, and we are playing the North Course. It is a 7,120 yard par 72. I do not have any pictures of this course. There's no videos of hole by hole, so I tried. Unfortunately, it's just not out there. So, this course, I would say the biggest thing is the fairways are very narrow. These are really tough fairways to hit. But the good news for the players is the rough is not that difficult. It's not. It's about 3 inches. You're going to be able to hit out it pretty easily. There's a lot of dog legs and there are a lot of trees. The fairways are lined with tons of trees. So you do have to be careful that you don't leave yourself with a blocked approach shot coming into the green. The greens are bent grass with POA and UA, and they do have some slope to them. So you can't just land the ball in the green and expect it to stay. You really do have to go for the pin because there's going to be some holes where if your approach shots are a little bit wayward, they will roll off, and then you have to get up and down, and it takes away some birdie opportunities. They probably will go low. One of the things that will prevent them from going low is that the field is just not that very good. I mean, you've got guys like Matt Kuchar who are priced in the top 20, so it's a very very weak field. It looks like the scores, my guess, are the mid to high teens. We can go over winning score, but someone shot a minus 21 a few years ago. And of course, this is Max Homa's backyard. Loves this area, two-time winner. So he's the obvious favorite in here. Anyone can post a low score, though. Hitting fair, I don't know. Like I said, it's tough to hit these fairways. So I would say the winner may not have a really high number for fairways hit because it's not that essential. But as long as you give yourself a good approach shot and you're putting pretty decent, you should be able to score pretty well on this. So, Nick, do you have anything else to add to the Silverado golf course?
No, I'll just mention that in general, it's short, right? It's par 72, 7,100 yards. So anytime you're under that 100 yard to stroke ratio, which this is, it's going to play short for these guys. So it's expected that upwards of 50% of approaches will be hitting from 125 yards or less. So if you're looking for some guys to do well this year, look back at last season stats and look at guys that are hitting. They're good wedge players, guys that are from 125 or 100 to 125 yards, that area. See who's some of the better players. Of course, you're going to be able to make some putts there. But you're right, Andy. It's you're going to have to hit quadrants of the greens. It's not just hit the greens and you'll be fine. You have to hit certain spots. The big thing for me, it's not only this week, it's really this fall season, is it's different than in years past, right? So this is not the wraparound season anymore. This is the new FedEx Cup Fall, they're calling it. So it's kind of like the build up to the playoffs where guys are accumulating points still from last year to try to get into the top 125 to retain their card for next year. So I don't yet know how that will play out or if that's even an angle to pay attention to. But I am going to kind of track it for these first couple of weeks and see if there's something that maybe we can, I don't know, take advantage of or find value on as we move. There's 7 total tournaments, so we'll have plenty of time to try to find some angle if that matters. But that's the only thing I'm going to add on your breakdown of the course. Otherwise, I think you nailed it in the head. Max Homa, I'll mention one thing on him is last year I started off the season with a winner. It was Max Homa. He's 16-1 this year, or last year, Andy. He's 750 this year. So I don't want anything to do with a guy that's that price after getting him 16-1 last year. So just throwing that out there. Nobody's three-peated? Three-peated? Yeah, what do we say? Triple?
Yeah, three-peat.
Whatever it is. Three-peated since Stricker at the JDC back in 09 through 11. So a lot of history against him. His price sucks. Probably don't want to take him this week.
You said you're not sure how that works. I say this half joking, half serious. Nick, I don't think the PGA knows how this is going to
True.
work. And based on what their leadership has done and what's come out, they literally have no idea what's going on with some of these things. So if you're out there and you're confused by the entire situation, don't feel bad. We all are. We have not gotten clarity on a lot of this. So we're just taking this betting tournament by tournament. And let's take a look at stats. And this is the chart of all charts. This is where Nick breaks down the total strokes gained. And Nick, for those of you watching for the first time, explain what this chart is and how this is pretty much the holy grail of where all your outright winners come from.
Yeah, Andy, this is strokes gained graphic. This is the top 10 players in the field over the last 12 months. So it's basically a ranking of who's played the best over the last year leading up to the tournament. So that's how they're in order. You can see Max Homa obviously on top of the list here by quite a wide margin, and a big reason why he is the betting favorite. It does drop off pretty drastically. I remember when we were doing this for the playoffs, you had guys Scotty Scheffler was at over 3 strokes gained, and then at number 10 you were still at 1 point higher than Max Homa, 1.8. So you can see that it's a big time difference in the quality of player this week. But I use this as a starting point because you can see at the very top of the graphic, 23 of 45 winners last year, so just over half of the winners ranked in this top 10. So it's always a place I'll start every tournament and look at, and then try to find and make sure if there's guys I like in this graphic that they're trending in the right direction. Obviously, Justin Thomas, everybody's been talking about him and his Ryder Cup pick. But you can see clearly, you go back a year ago, he was still playing well, but all of last year he stunk, and you can see that trend clearly down the last 3 months. The only guys in the top 10 here that is now losing strokes in the last 3 months. And then a guy like Max Homa, who actually was playing well a year ago, then kind of dipped a little bit mid-season. He got out of the California swing, kind of struggled a little bit, but then he really had a resurgence back in the playoffs. So we'll see if that carries over. But that's the graphic here, Andy. The names you can see. Again, you already mentioned it. Not a lot of big names. Only one guy in the top 20 official golf world rankings this week teeing it up, and that is Max Homa. So this is a week, Andy. Go for some fun. Try to pick some long shot outright winners because you might have a chance on Sunday with some guys that are close to at least 60-1 or pushing 100-1 this week.
Yeah, let's move to some players that can trip you up. And this field is full of players that can trip you up. But someone's going to win and someone's going to finish in the top 20 and the top 10. So I'm going to start with Justin Thomas, the controversial Ryder Cup team pick. I didn't think it was that controversial. Chemistry is so important for the Ryder Cup, and I didn't have a problem with it. So if the team feels more comfortable with him around, then go for it. But that does not mean he should be a top 3 favorite this week. This is a very weak field, and he's still the 22nd best in total strokes gained in the last 6 months. He's an abysmal minus 0.34 strokes gained putting. His putting has just been terrible. He has not played here in 4 years, so I'm sure this is just a tune-up so he can get a tournament in before playing in the Ryder Cup. I just don't think his mind is focused on this tournament. I think let's put it this way. If he is focused and his putting is bad, he's never going to return value here. He's going to be a massive letdown. He's going to have to finish in the top 3, runner-up, or win to return value, and I just don't see that happening. I think it's a complete stay away in DFS outrights and head-to-heads. And I don't want to bet on a high price guy whose focus is on the Ryder Cup, which is a couple weeks away. So I don't think this is I don't think this is a tournament high on his list to win. I think this is go out there, make sure you hit some good shots. Just try and hit some good putts and worry about the Ryder Cup in a couple weeks. Next player that can trip you up, Bo Hostler. He finished the season pretty strong. He went 20th. He had a missed cut, but he had a 13th and a 6th. He has decent tournament history. He's finished 25th, 16th, and 26th the last 3 years. This guy's a top 7 priced favorite. He's the 8th highest priced DFS golfer, and he's minus 0.28 strokes gained on approach the last 6 months. He's gotten better, but he's also really bad around the green. He's minus 0.27. So he's not good at getting up and down. So if he has these wayward approaches and he's struggling to get up and down, that's a problem because this is a tournament you have to go low on and you have to take advantage of birdie opportunities. Some of these holes, a bogey just feels like you're losing a couple strokes to the field. So Bo Hostler is just not very consistent, and he's going to have to finish at least in the top 10 to return value. He's going to have to get into the low to mid teens to be top 10, and I just don't trust him. His approaches in his short game, not sharp. So, Bo Hostler, I will be staying away from. And the final one is Cameron Davis. He is really good off the tee. He's good on approach, and then it's bad. It's very Scotty Scheffler esque. So again, this tournament, you're going to have to go low, which means you're going to have a hot putter. We talked about this with Will Zalatoris. We talked about this with Scotty Scheffler, that sometimes they have problems trying to go really low on low scoring courses because their putting is so bad. He's minus 0.24 strokes gained putting the last 3 months. He's also really inconsistent. He has 4 missed cuts in his last 10 tournaments, but he also has a 6th, the 7th, and the 17th. So it's too much of a roller coaster. He's the 4th highest priced golfer on DraftKings and the 4th highest favorite. He missed the cut last year at this tournament, so I will not be investing in Cameron Davis. So Justin Thomas, Bo Hostler, Cameron Davis, 3 high priced players that I believe can trip you up. We're going to go to an outright pick. I think he ends up being the DraftKings darling of 2023. Nick, you and I just love his game, and we've said this guy's going to win a tournament, and I love that you're pulling the trigger on him. This is the type of tournament that he can win. So talk to us about Eric Cole and what you like about him for this week.
Yeah, I feel like maybe my pick has been, persuaded by you to listening to you every single week talk about DraftKings darlings and Eric Cole on your list every single week. And I'm like, it's just like subliminal messaging. It's in the back of my head. Eventually, it was just going to come out, and here it is, Eric Cole. I agree. Every week you put him in your list, I always agree with you because he was playing very, very well. I love the guy. He's gonna win. It's only a matter of time. He's gonna be the rookie of the year, barring something crazy to happen. Because I guess these fall series events are included still in the rookie of the year this season going. But otherwise, he is the front runner right now for rookie of the year for good reason. So I do think he will win eventually. This is as good of a chance as you're going to find to get a guy to get his first PGA Tour win. It's a good field, still getting 35-1 on the number. So Cole made 10 straight cuts, Andy, to finish the season. Hence why you always put him in your DraftKings darlings. He made it all the way to the BMW Championship, just short of the Tour Championship. His skill set really, to me, fits the profile of who's likely to contend this week. Since the Houston Open, we're going back to last November, Cole has lost strokes on approach 3 times in 27 starts, Andy. That's it. His worst performance was minus 0.21. So even when he had a bad week, it was just under the tour average or the field average that week. He ranks 11th in proximity on approaches from 100 to 125 yards. I already mentioned that's a key number for me this week. And he's been great with the putter. He's gained strokes in 8 of his final 10 starts. And overall last season, he ranked 12th strokes gained putting and 3rd in putting average per green in regulation. So in this field, you can consider him elite as he ranks 2nd in total strokes gained over both the last 3 months and the last 6 months. And we're getting 35-1 on the number. So I think, again, it's a matter of time for me on when Cole does win. I think this is a great chance for it, and I love his price this week. So Eric Cole is my outright play.
Yeah, once he wins, you're never going to get 35-1
Yeah.
in a weak field like this. So it's a great price on a golfer that we both like. We mentioned him in DraftKings Darlings. Let's take a look at our DraftKings Darlings this week. And there's no chance Eric Cole's a low price guy in this field. So we had to dig real deep to find some DraftKings Darlings, but I think we've got three of them here. The first one, Matthias Schmid. This is a guy coming off of the European Tour. He's only 7,000, and he's finished 22nd and 20th in his last two PGA tournaments of the season. And he finished 79th and 24th in his last two European events. So he's making it to the weekend and he's getting us weekend points. That's what we need in DraftKings Darlings. And he's plus strokes gained putting off the tee last 3 months, putting and off the tee the last 3 months. This is a weak field. I think he makes the cut and he can get us some weekend points. He doesn't have a really, really bad part of his game. He's pretty solid across the board. So just make it to the weekend, and the $7,000 price will prove to be very valuable. Up next at 7,400 is Nate Lashley. He made the cut the last four tournaments of the season, and he's finished 55th and 16th the last 2 years here. So again, a very weak field, but last 2 years he's gotten us weekend points, and he's plus strokes gained like barely in all of the main categories, and I mean like barely plus strokes gained, but he did it. So he's not bad in one category. Again, pretty solid, well-rounded game, and in this field, I expect to get some good points on Saturday and Sunday. And last one, Peter Quest, 7,900. He made the cut 7 out of 9 tournaments this season. He putts very, very well, plus 0.48 strokes gained putting this season. Approach and off the tee numbers are plus strokes gained. Decent price for him in this field. I think 7,900 I think it's actually priced appropriately. I can't say this is just like an incredible, amazing value, but this field's tough. So I'll take 7,900 on him. And then if you want the rest of the lineup, I have a free article that is up at WagerTalk.com. It's free digital download. Just click on the downloads and you'll be able to download it. And it's got the rest of the lineup in there. It's got the write-ups on the players that can trip you up, a little bit of course overview as well. All right, Nick, coming to you for a finishing position play. Really, really big plus money for the top 10 and top 20. Who are you eyeing this week for the finishing position?
Yeah, real quick follow up on your buddy Guest. I do like him. He's like Ludwig Aberg. He just smashes the golf ball, and we've seen in years that distance is a huge advantage anymore on some of these courses. So I do like that play. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, this week, finish position, Akshay Bhatia. I think he is. I mean, listen, he won, so this is no longer that much of a surprise. The kid weighs what, 102 pounds soaking wet. I mean, he's the skinniest little noodle you'll see on the PGA Tour, but he can get it done. That's fine to say, right? So
yes,
I don't know how he does it, but he can hit the ball pretty far. But what I like about him is he's young. So what does that mean? He's dumb. He's aggressive. He goes for pins. I think that's going to help him this week because, again, we mentioned how these greens are tough. If you play it safe, you're going to have 35 feet a lot. If you're going for flags, that's where you're going to get rewarded. Sure, you could also screw yourself pretty hard, and he might trunk slam on Friday because of it. But I think it does set him up to give him a good chance to have more birdie putts, or at least makeable birdie putts, than a lot of players in the field this week. And I mentioned at the beginning, Andy, when we were talking about the course and the fall series in general, he won, right? So he's already secured his 2024 card. So compared to some other guys that are going to be grinding out these weekly results and maybe playing a little differently, I think the fact that he's freed up here and can really just go aggressive and just go for a win versus just like, let me protect late on Sunday or even on Saturday against falling down the leaderboard because I need points. I think that's going to help him kind of ride up this leaderboard as the week goes on. Besides his win at the Barracuda, he finished tied for 9th at the Barbasol, solo 4th at the Mexico Open, 24th in Punta Cana, and then he had a runner-up in Puerto Rico. What do all those tournaments have in common? All very crappy fields, as this one is. So he seems to thrive in this type of field, or he clearly is one of the better ones in this field. And he also has a little bit of history here. Silverado. He hasn't played either of the last 2 seasons, but 2021, he did finish tied for 9th. So that should give him a little confidence heading into this week. And again, I think he's just freed up is a good way to put it this week. So I do think he'll be somewhere near the top, and I like top 10 and top 20 on Akshay Bhatia this week.
He's like the new age David Lingworth. Remember how David Lee Mirth could never
Yeah, you'll
compete
see.
in yes, he could never compete in the big tournaments, but boy, when the big names took off, he was there.
Yep,
Uh,
he was there.
so, so yeah, and
Well said.
no, you're right. I doubt you will see any photo of him and Rory McIlroy in the weight room at the same time. He is very, but super flexible, gets a lot of torque, and just has really good form. And yeah, that was a great win for him. All right. Both Nick and I have plays up at wagertalk.com, but we do want to talk about the DP World Tour event because that is where some of the biggest names in golf are playing. So, Nick, give us a little explanation of Wentworth and this tournament. It's obviously a big tune up before the Ryder Cup. What do you know about this course in this field?
Yeah, Wentworth is it's a big name club, and they've played a lot of events here over the years. Here, so it does have a good history as far as course goes, and you can find a lot of that if you just do a little Google digging on besides this tournament what else it's been used for and who succeeded here. But this is, I want to say, the 7th or 8th year now that they've played this particular tournament here. So it's got some good course history. You can look back at the results previous years to find some guys that have performed well here. You got guys like Danny Willett, winner in 2019. Hey, your buddy Tyrrell Hatton actually won. Yes, he won here back in 2020. Horschel, who seems to be having a little bit of a resurgence I guess since the playoffs or trying to make the playoffs kind of happened. He won in 2021, and Shane Lowry won last year, who had a good week last week on the DP World Tour. So it's a par 72, similar to the PGA Tour this week. It's a little bit longer, it measures closer to 73 yards. What's true about this course is it's very much a true Parkland style course. I mean, there are trees lining every hole, Andy. So driving is going to be very, very important this week. You can knock it offline with your tee shots, or you are going to be punching out and not have clear shots at the green. So unlike the PGA Tour event where I'm looking more at approach shots, short approach shots, I'm looking really at guys that can get the ball in play off the tee, because I think that's going to be a huge component this week for scoring. Maybe they'll scramble themselves away to get bars and be okay. But the biggest thing in the field, I mean, look at the list. You got Rory, Rahm, and of course the reigning FedEx Cup champ now, Victor Hovland in the field, plus a slew of others. So what's crazy to me, and I've said it, since he got that win at the BMW, and really he's been trending for Vic, is he's the tournament favorite right now. And really, depending on which book you are, it's like Rory, him, and Rahm are all priced very, very similar. But at a couple of them, if there's one that is the favorite, it is Victor Hovland, which is crazy to think that he's now the favorite over Rory. But here we are, and rightfully so. Kid is playing amazing. I believe he's going to be the number one player in the world at some point this season, and overtake Scotty. So we'll see what happens. But that's it for me on this track in the field. But if you want a winner, Andy, just let me know. I'd be happy to throw a name out there towards it for you.
I'll ask you for your winner. I have two names I want to keep my eye on. Shane Lowry. Spoiler, I'll be big on Shane Lowry in the Ryder Cup. He has been adamant, and he is calling a shot. I am ready for the Ryder Cup. I can't wait for the Ryder Cup. And he played great last week. Finished third. This is the defending champion. You can get him a head-to-head against Tom Kim. Yes, please. Guy that is this motivated. Yeah, a guy that is this motivated and is just putting himself out there, saying, I am going to play great at the Ryder Cup. This is going to be, one of the most dialed in I've ever been. I don't think this is a go out there and tune up your game. I think he wants to go out there and win this thing and go into the Ryder Cup, with some big time momentum behind him. And then the other guy, I'll the opposite. I'm fading John Rahm. We're still getting these matchups with him against the biggest names, and at least Rory is a little bit juiced against John Rahm, and so is Hovland. But I'll take Hovland over Rahm at this point. I'll take Rory over Rahm every day. Guy started off strong, but then his stats just caught up to him. He was terrible to finish the year. So two guys kind of trending in the opposite direction, in my opinion. Shane Lowry, I'm in on, and John Rahm, I'm completely out on. So I'll be fading Rahm and supporting Lowry, and especially I'll be looking towards Lowry in some of those matchups when he's in the pairs at the Ryder Cup. And if he plays great, I'll be all over him in the singles competition. So what was the name you wanted to talk about as an outright winner?
Yeah, I love it. Speaking of the Ryder Cup, all 12 of the European team is playing this week at this BMW PGA. So they are all there. They're all going to get a nice little
Love
tune
it.
up. Yep. And speaking of guys on that Ryder Cup team, that is one that I have circled this week, and it is Matty Ice, Matthew Fitzpatrick. Uh, he's had a kind of a really an up and down season. He was a big fade for both of us, I think, Andy, early in the season when he was dealing with that neck injury, kind of lingering back to last fall, then went into the early part of this season, and then he kind of came seemingly out of nowhere. He finished tied for 10th at the Masters, then won his next start, which was one of those elevated events at the RBC Heritage. Then had four more top 20 finishes over his next six starts, and then he ended the year very strong and has kind of picked up right where he left off. With he's got three straight top 10 finishes right now, two near wins. He almost won the BMW Championship. And then just 2 weeks ago, he almost won the Omega European Masters, where he finished tied for third, and he was tied for second at the BMW. So he's playing very, very well right now, and he's played this venue before. He's played in this event before. He's never won, but he has made the cut in all 7 years that he has teed it up. He has two top tens. And again, he's a much different player the last 2 years than he was, 5, 6 years ago. So to me, I think he's trending in the right direction. His price, 18-1, a little bit better than you're going to get on your Vicks and your Roms and your Rorys this week. But I think he's playing well enough to justify the price. So I'll have some skin in the game on Matthew Fitzpatrick outright, and probably back that up a little bit with a top 10 and top 20 as well.
Love it. That is the breakdown for the European event this week. Both myself and Nick have plays up at wagertalk.com. You can grab those at any time on our profile pages. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave us a comment below. And thank you to everybody that's watching these videos who is all in on the fall golf season for us. We know there's a lot of sports going on right now, but golf, man, it's a passion for Nick and me, and those units, they spend the same. I promise you. If you win in golf, they spend the exact same as any other sport. If you do like the gambling content, please hit the like button, leave us a comment, and check out all of our other gambling content on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. We've got individual game breakdowns for college football and NFL. And don't forget Wager Talk today, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern and 9 a.m. Pacific, to get you ready for all of your gambling needs. Thanks very much, everyone. And we're off good next week, but then Ryder Cup, baby. So don't forget to tune in then. Good luck on all your bets. We'll see everyone next time.